folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Hellboy, Masks and Monsters by Dark Horse Comics. Now there is violence, killing, murder, blood, punching, weapons, guns, Lovecraftian monsters, demons. Did I say blood already? Yeah, blood in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, so here are the team. And then after this one, I'll show another picture with who worked on what stories. This contains 2 stories. Alright, should be enough time. Alright, so this is a trade containing 2 stories. Did I mention? No. Yeah, the second story is called Hellboy and then Ghost. And the first one is, what's the first one called? I think it might just be all the characters' names, and that's it. I'll open it later and I'll check. Anyway, yeah, so this is a trade. So one story is with Hellboy, Batman, and Starman, this gentleman over here. And the other one is with Hellboy and Ghost. And it was a bit of trouble getting this one, because it was out of print, and I did find it, and it was a bit expensive. But I am glad I managed to get my hands on it. Also, it took a lot of time for it to arrive. But yes, I finally read it. So let's begin with the first story. The first story, we start with Gotham. Batman is chasing the Joker. He doesn't catch him. The Joker throws a bomb and things explode. Later, he goes because the bat signal is on. And he asks Jim what's wrong, what does he need? And then we meet Hellboy. I don't know. Wait, what am I saying? Sorry. Before that. That's later. It's already late. My brain's not working. Anyway, Batman doesn't catch the Joker. Then we move on to him talking to Ted Knight. Ted Knight was the original Starman, I think. I don't know much. I don't know anything at all, really, about Starman. I know that that's his son, Alex. Yeah, that's his son. Is it Alex? I'll look later. But yeah, the original Starman. So Ted Knight, they know he's Starman. He's meeting Bruce Wayne. He's giving a lecture at one of Wayne Enterprises facilities about some science stuff and all that. But during his lecture, these weird guys break in. They're called the Knights of October. They're a group of Nazis. They're a group of Nazis called the Knights of October. They have magical powers, which obviously old Batsy doesn't register as magic at first. So they attack and they kidnap Ted Knight. Now Bruce is there, goes change into his Batman costume, but he doesn't manage to save Ted. The Knights kidnap him, and one of them kills himself to stop Batman. Later, that's when the bat signal's on. Batman goes there, and Jim tells him, "I didn't summon you." And then we see Hellboy. Oh, it was so awesome to see 2 of my favorites in the same story. Oh, it was fucking great. I was overly excited about that. Right, so Batman was sent there because of the Knights of October. He knows what they are. He also needs to investigate this to see what they're planning. Now, Batman, as we all know, is reluctant to work with him, but, Batman's like, I know magic best. You don't understand these things. I know far more than you. So Batman agrees in the end to work with him. To Batman, that's science, but it is actually magic. So, they start to investigate. They go to this spa restaurant thing. They question someone there. He tells them who to look for. Eventually, they end up getting information that the Knights of October rented an old airfield, an abandoned one. Batman and Hellboy get there, and they see that all the Nazis have gathered, and it looks like they're about to perform some sort of ceremony, perhaps. There's an airplane there. You see the head Nazi, and you see Ted Knight there in the plane. The Hellboy and Bruce have a little chat. So nice. Says, well, Hellboy tells him, besides the fact that there's quite a few guys there to beat up, you would have managed without me, it seems. And Batman says, nah, I don't know about the magic stuff. It was a nice bonding moment. Right, Watson? Watson just passed by. Anyway, they charge at the Nazis. They start fighting them. While Hellboy's fighting some of them, he hears the Commander Nazi. So they need to take off. And something about a hangar. So Hellboy goes back to Batman and tells him, Batman, stop that plane from taking off. And he runs into the hangar where some other Nazis are there. Batman tries, he grabs on with a batarang, or a hook, bat hook to the plane, but one of the Nazis jumps out and knocks him out, knocks his rope, and they fall into the ground. Well, let's just say the Nazi was a good landing cushion. He's probably dead, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Hellboy's there. The other Nazis are starting to perform some ceremony. One of them's about to be the first sacrifice. Hellboy tries to stop them, but doesn't manage. The guy already shoved a dagger into his chest. And then and he's turned into like a black hole. Starts to suck everything around him in. It's the first ceremony to start summoning one of the Lovecraftian demons. These guys don't know what they're playing with. Hellboy yells at Batman to grab onto something so they don't get sucked in as well. Batman does. Hellboy barely holds on. He almost gets sucked in, but Batman grabs his hand, and they somehow survive this. Now, Hellboy did overhear where they're going. They're going to an island in the Amazons called San Diablo. I'll leave that here on screen. Something Diablo. We need to go. Bruce is like, I know. Batman's like, I know, Bruce, wait, I can get us an airplane. They'll be faster than the Nazis' airplane. Yeah, they have an old one, now with jets. So they said, all right, we're gonna go then. But then they see the bat symbol. They're driving back to Gotham. And when they get there, before that, Bruce told them, I'll go with you. We'll stop him. But then we see bat symbol. They go, and the Joker has kidnapped the children of the wealthy people of Gotham and is threatening to turn them into versions of himself. So, Batman is grounded. But then Ted Knight's son comes down and says, well, wait, I'm going with you as well. I'll still get you that plane, you'll get to San Diablo. And Alex comes down and says, wait, I'm coming with you to save my dad. So a bit later, they're at the airplane. Everything is prepared. Alex makes a joke. You're gonna get me used to this. I won't be able to go to economy class. And then Batman's like all serious, puts a hand on him. I admire your ability to joke in such a hard time. And then when he goes back to Gotham, Alex says, "Man, he needs a vacation." And Hellboy's like, "Yeah, totally." That was a funny moment. I'm paraphrasing here. Those aren't the words that were used. So they start their flight to San Diablo. Batman will join them if he makes it in time. They start flying. Alex wants to hear about the Knights of October. Hellboy tells him we'll get to that later. He tells him to get some sleep, because they might not have an opportunity later. A while after that, they finally reach the island. The Amazon, sorry. Not island. The pilot tells them we're at the drop zone, gentlemen. They're gonna parachute. But then Alex tells him there's no need for a parachute for me or for you. I'll take us down with my staff. Now, I don't know how Starman's powers work. I know it's related to science. You see this rod over here? That's what he uses. Some power comes out of it, but I'm not sure what it is exactly, so my apologies. I have really no idea. Anyway, he uses it to fly them down to the ground. And he says everything should be fine unless suddenly they're zapped. They're falling, but Alex manages to catch them. And grabs Hellboy again, and they land down safely, more or less. But then Nazis are coming at them. Are about to, with guns and everything. Special guns of their own. And they start attacking. I was like, okay, we need to attack them back. So they charge at the Nazis, they're fighting them. And they're very sensitive to light. Because they have special night vision goggles. So Hellboy tells him, Alex already got it. He lights up and they'll get knocked out. They tie almost all of them up, except one that they take with them. So they can get some answers out of him. Hellboy's carrying him on his back like a sack of potatoes. So they keep going. Now in San Diablo, and that's like a city there. That's where the Nazis' base is. Ooh, it's cool. Quite the base there, I'll tell you. The Nazi, they wake him up, and this Hellboy's like, you better tell me what. I want some answers. You better give them to me. And he said, you can kill me. I'm not afraid to die. And Hellboy says, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to beat the crap out of you. At first, the Nazi's all tough, but then I guess he's afraid of getting beaten up or something, and he starts talking. Like, okay, I'll tell you. So their plan is to summon this Lovecraftian demon to help them take over the world, to, bring to fruition the Fuhrer's plans. And, all the usual shit. And he tells them, you see this right here? This is the weapon. They're using it, not weapon, but they're using it to summon. And he asks, well, why do you need, Alex asks him, why do you need my dad? To which the Nazi tells him, we need your dad's specialty in stars. His dad knows, he's a scientist, and he knows a lot about the star systems. The reason they kidnapped him is to make him arrange, find the star arrangement and suck powers out of a certain star for their summoning device. And Alex says, my dad would never do it. And the Nazi's like, he would. We have our ways. They drugged him up with something, and it's making him obey their commands. So he has no choice, really, in the matter. And then the Nazi starts reciting some Lovecraft lines about this Lovecraftian creature. And then both Alex and Hellboy get annoyed. So anyway, Hellboy punches him, and he's out cold. So they move on to San Diablo. So the plan is Alex is going to distract them. fly towards them while Hellboy goes in there. So that's what they do. Hellboy gets inside. We go inside while Alex is attacking, and we see his dad. We see Ted Knight. He's sitting there. The head Nazi is there. He's about to shoot him. He's about to kill him. Now that he served his purpose, for the future, for the past. Well, so before that, we did get some information about this Nazi, the head Nazi. He's man, I'll write his name here on screen. I forgot what it is. I'm shit with names. But yeah, his dad was who did a whole list of terrible things, too terrible to even read to you, as Hellboy says. Yes, his son is chip off the old block for sure. And apparently, now Ted Knight fought in the Second World War. And he, for the short time that he did, he stopped apparently some of this Nazi's men. So he's like, okay, now I'm about to, revenge as well. But he doesn't manage to kill him because Hellboy bursts in from the floor, knocks him out and grabs Ted. And then he and Alex run back into the jungle. His dad's not responding, but Hellboy brings out a syringe with something. It says this substance should help cure a lot of things like this. So they inject him and he wakes up. Alex is obviously happy. His dad's alive and well. And they ask him, what did they make you do? And he says what the Nazi told them. But he's, it's like he was screaming inside his head. He couldn't talk, he could just do what they told him. But the thing is, he didn't tell them that some of the wiring he did were wrong. They told him to do it, but it was wrong, but he couldn't correct them because he couldn't speak. So they now have a plan. Hellboy and Alex are going to go there. Alex is going to keep attacking the machine. The Lovecraftian monster, the demon. And Hellboy is going to do some damage to the machines and fight off the Nazis. And then they're going to switch. Because Hellboy has a prayer he can read that can send the Lovecraftian demon back. So they go and the fireworks begin. Explosions everywhere. Alex continues to hit that demon. Hellboy is punching Nazis. And then, just at the right moment they switch, Alex is covering him and Hellboy starts reading the prayer. And it succeeds. They manage to throw him back into where he came from. And as they're about to run away, the head Nazi comes back and he's like, "You'll never stop us. The Fuhrer's dream and plan will come to fruition." And then everything explodes. You can see Alex and Hellboy flying out of there. And that's it. They're in the jungle. They stop the Nazis and it's not even morning yet. I'm not sure what the timeline is. I don't think this whole happens in one day. At least I don't think. No, I think it goes through the course of 2 days, actually. Something like that. Oh, Hellboy's like, okay, now we just gotta figure out how to get out of here. So, but then they see Batman is flying above them in one of his Batcrafts. And they're like, well, looks like Batman managed with the Joker. Everything went well for him. And that's it. That's the end of this first story. Of Batman, Starman, and Hellboy. That's not what I thought. When I first got this trade, I thought all 4 of them were going to be together in the same story. I didn't know it would be split, but still, I love seeing how Batman and Hellboy work together. I wonder if there's another story where they do that. I wish there was, if there isn't. Because that's an interesting dynamic, Hellboy's specialty is all the paranormal things. And Batman doesn't really believe it. The funny thing is, Starman, Ted Knight doesn't believe any of the stuff either. Even though he met a demon, he worked with Doctor Strange, with Dr. Fate, and he's still, he doesn't believe it. And he's talking to fucking Hellboy, and he's like, I don't know what you mean. Dude, you're talking to a literal demon standing in front of you. You still don't believe? What are you gonna do? He's a stubborn old gentleman. Yeah, but it was interesting. I loved that. I love seeing Hellboy and Batman together. Starman was pretty interesting, Alex. To check out Starman sometimes. I need to understand how the hell his powers work. So I have no idea. Well, anyway. That was the first story. Very good. Some cool Nazi stuff. We got some, cool as in the story. Some history. And some Lovecraft in there. Always appreciate some Lovecraft. Alright, on to the next story. So the next story is with Hellboy and Ghost. I don't know much about her either. I think Mr. Gray maybe talked about her once. She seems to have gone through quite a few changes over the years. Because she, I think originally, she got killed, but then she came back as a ghost to save her husband and baby? I don't know. I should read up about her too, but I have no idea. But it seems like she's this unique ghost because she can kill people, but not, by, making them fall down the stairs or dropping something on them. She has guns. The perfect murderer when you think about it. No one sees you. At least it... Fucking hell, people. It's Friday. Go to sleep. Yeah, no one sees her. Cars. Alright, so the story starts in Arcadia. It's a city. It's also, I know a song called Arcadia. Anyway, it's a city. And it's 39, I think, or 38. We're in some rundown, hotel, some building. And some gangster boss has killed someone in the bathtub, chopped him to pieces. But he's yelling at the body because he thinks it's laughing at him. That the guy he killed is laughing at him. And there's two henchmen probably wondering if their boss finally lost it or not. And he's like, do you hear the laughing? And they're like, no, boss, we don't hear anything. And he's like, go get me Herb. Herbert Izzy, this guy. I think he's a doctor. Yeah, he was a doctor. So they go fetch him after almost 40 minutes. He's in his bathrobe and approaching the bathtub. And the boss asks him, the gangster asks him, do you hear laughing? And he's like, no. So then he performs some kind of ritual. Also Lovecraftian as well. I love the dose of Lovecraft in here. So he reads out a spell, a prayer, to send the laughing guy's spirit back, or something. But then after he performs it, they still hear some laughing. And now the gangster's all calm, he says, no, I don't hear any laughing. But then he turns around and kills Herbert. Just shoots him in the head. And then they have another guy who bricks up the wall of the room, I suppose. Then he and his henchmen leave outside. But as they walk outside, a car passes by. You see a gun peeking out. And he says, this is from my brother. I'm not sure if it's the guy he just killed or someone else. Anyway, they're also murdered. And then we fast forward about 40-something years later. Not right next to that place, someone has been killed with a shot to the head. Hellboy is there with a specialist lady from the BPRD, and they're there to investigate. She's a psychic, so she feels things. They've heard about Ghost, and they're interested to recruit her because of how much of a unique ghost she is. She isn't your typical ones, I've already said. So Hellboy goes into this, I don't know, hotel, apartment building. I think it's most likely an apartment building. He goes in there. He's going in there. Then we move on to some guy who's who's in the building. He goes up, and he says, "Hey, I'm here to collect my money for the job." But then we hear a voice saying, "There's no one here for you. You've killed someone I needed." I'm assuming that's the guy down that was outside that was killed with the shot to the head. So this other guy freaks out, and he goes backwards. He pulls out his guns and who's there? And then he bumps into Hellboy, and I was like, "Boo! Now get out of here!" So the guy starts running, and Ghost, who's the one who's been talking to him, tells him, "There's nowhere to run. You won't escape me. Because of you, I can't get some answers I wanted." And then she just fucking kills him. Just several shots, and he's done. That's it, he's dead. And I was like, why did you do that? I also mentioned before, she can't keep killing, even though she is killing bad guys. So, Hellboy's talking to her, "I'm here to help you, lady." And she said, Hellboy. And he's apparently been on the cover of a magazine, which she read. And he's like, "Ghosts don't read magazines. What kind of ghost are you?" And then they start to kerfuffle, but when he's about to grab her, obviously stupid idea, she's a ghost. He goes right through her and falls down the stairs and then down one floor. Into the room where the guy in the bathtub was murdered and then the doctor was murdered. And he's a bit unconscious at first. And Ghost follows after him. And then she looks into the bathtub and sees the dead guy. Like, "What's your story?" But then we get a close-up of the drain in the bath. And she gets sucked into a sort of another dimension. And then all sorts of hands of dead people start grabbing her and pulling her. And she's screaming, "No, I defeated you. I left this place. You can't reach me anymore." I wonder what happened to her, because they do mention how much pain she has inside of her. I don't know what's her origin, really. Anyway, yeah. And then a masked guy appears. A masked man. And he tells her, he's like, "Who are you?" He said, how these creatures have power over you? You should be able to leave. They cannot hold you." And he's like, "I'm your peace. I'm here to help you finally move on, to get some rest. Sweet oblivion. But for that, I need a key." And he shows her Hellboy's hand. I was like, "If you can get that for me, I'll be able to help you move on to the oblivion." So we go back to outside of this dimension. Hellboy sits up. I was like, he's gonna have a headache in the morning, poor guy. And then he sees Herbert lying there, his body, a skeleton more like, and bathrobe, and he digs into the pocket, and inside there's a wallet, where he learns that this is Herbert. And he's just about to continue investigating when Ghost appears behind him and not punches him, she tries to shoot him. She shoots him, wants to get him there, and they start fighting. And then Elle was like, "Don't get me angry, lady." And then he punches her with his stone hand, almost blowing her head off. And she's shocked, like nothing can hold her or harm her. She's a ghost. But yet his hand manages to punch the shit out of her. So he follows her. He breaks through a wall. She's She's fighting him, tries to keep shooting. Then she grabs a leg of a chair, and we see a neat trick. She takes it, makes it intangible, shoves it in Hellboy's hand, and makes it tangible again. And he screams in pain. Yeah, that's probably not pleasant. And she said, "I want to see another trick," and she shoves her hands into his gut, and he's in pain. But then the voice, the masked man, tells her, "Don't kill him. We need him alive." So she lets him. He falls down on the floor. I forgot to mention, both of these stories, they both have 2 chapters each. So then we move on to chapter 2. And it's like, bring him here now. So, and chapter 2 begins, we have the police are trying to get into the apartment building where Hellboy is. You know, they've been called, the people heard gunshots. But the BPRD are trying to prevent them from getting in there. "This is our business. We'll call you if we need you." One of the agents is talking to this psychic lady. And he tells her, do you know what's up with Hellboy there? She's like, "Hellboy said to give him an hour." And she says, "I don't know. I don't feel his presence anymore. It's like he's been taken to another world, another realm." I think at that point she also mentions a bit about this building. So this area, Arcadia, had a lot of shit going on in it. A lot of brutal murders, a lot of gangsters, a lot of bad things have been happening there. Well, there's a Lovecraftian trap demon in there, not shocking. So, then we move on to Hellboy and Ghost. She's carrying him into this other dimension, through it. The masked man says, "Well done, my child. A bit more and you'll have your oblivion." She keeps taking Hellboy there. She leaves him somewhere, but then a stone figure, a big one, Hellboy wakes up, and then they hear this noise. And a stone giant comes out of a statue and starts fighting them. Ghost shoots him, then he goes for Hellboy. Hellboy does punch him one time, but doesn't succeed. The stone giant punches him back. He gets knocked down. Both Ghost and Masked Man, yell no, because they need the hand. So Ghost flies and tells the stone creature to come after her. Then she does the same trick. She, when his stone hand on her, she also turns intangible, and then he gets stuck in another statue, his hand, that is. He tries to pull it out, but it breaks, and then he himself breaks entirely. And then we see Hellboy, we see the masked man tell her, "Now, child, bring the mask. The mask. Bring the hand. You have defeated, supposedly the statue was her fears and everything. And all that wronged her." Hellboy's coming, and she says, soon, the mask is coming. They go through this gate, this doorway, I should say, and they come to this structure. There's a giant statue of some sort of horned creature. And Hellboy turns around and is like, "Okay, lady, what the hell is going on here?" And then he gets shot by the masked man. And with the masked man, there's a pig creature. A humanoid pig creature that keeps laughing. They chain up Hellboy's hand. And they're like, "We need to separate the hand while the creature is still alive." And then she asks him again, "What does Hellboy have to do with me? What does his hand have to do with my situation?" And then the masked man tells her, "Absolutely nothing. I lied to you. All of this was a lie. You betrayed your own, you betrayed humanity." So, yeah, he used Ghost. He could feel the misery on her, the pain, everything, and he used it to make her get Hellboy for him, to get the hand. And then he says, now we'll open a portal and we'll leave out of here and begin the destruction of the world. She tries to do something, but then he shoots her with magic and slaps her. And he says, I might have some use for you. Your body is not unpleasant. So then he and Pigman approach. They're about to cut off Hellboy's hand. The Ghost gets slightly up, grabs one of her guns, and shoots. But it looks like she misses. The masked man shoots energy at her again and tells her that this is a pathetic attempt, but even more pathetic that you couldn't hit me. And then behind him, Hellboy gets up and says, she wasn't aiming at you. And he starts punching him. Hellboy starts punching him with a stone hand. And Hellboy falls back and he's like, how dare you, I will destroy you. But then Hellboy suddenly says, that's not you talking, is it? It's the mask. And he said, no, I am Allah, what is it? I am Allah, the merciless. All these grand descriptions of what he's done. And Hellboy's like, you're not Allah, your name is Herbert Izzy. You're from this place, that apartment, Arcadia. And he's like, no, but then the mask falls. And now the guy in the beginning is big, big, muscular, but Herbert is tiny and thin. And he's like, no, and he's like, yes, I'm Herbert. And then the mask yells at him. Hellboy says, one of these guys here is Allah, isn't it? There's a lot of dead men around them, rotting and skeletons. So the mask yells at Herbert, put me back on. Come on. Herbert takes the mask and he just puts it on, but then Ghost shoots him, breaking the mask and, well, he's already dead. I suppose she kills him again. And that's it. Hellboy tells her, nice shooting. And she said, the world's greatest paranormal detective. How did you know it was Herbert? And he says, good, I guess. A good one, huh? And then, I don't know when this happened, but Hellboy killed the pig man, shoved an X into his face. Which, when I read this, I went back and I'm like, wait, when did he do that? Did I miss it? It's a shame they didn't show that. When did it happen? I just mean, right, there's the pig man, yeah? Hellboy gets behind them. Because the pig man and Allah are in front of him. He's behind them. But then he immediately starts to punch Allah. So when did he have a chance to kill Pigman? Was it what? When the mask fell, he was like for a second, okay, wait here. It's a bit confusing, that is. Oh, well, I suppose it happened somewhere in between all that. And he's like, shame I don't know who Pigman is. It's a shame I shoved an axe into his face before I had a chance to ask. Well, Hellboy, first you ask, then you shoot. Or shove an axe in the face. And then Ghost looks at him and says, that could be a bathtub guy. The guy in the bathtub. And then as soon as she says that, there's an explosion and they're back in the real world. And the bathtub breaks in half and so does the skeleton inside. And I was like, there really is a guy in the bathtub. So he talks to Ghost. She also thanks him before that for saving her life. Or her afterlife, that is. And Hellboy tells her, look, I can see you have a lot of issues, and before anyone can help you, you need to sort them out yourself. But, if you ever need to talk, he gives her his card, but it just passes through her hand. She doesn't try to grab it. Then Hellboy goes outside back to his colleague, the psychic lady, and we see Ghost flying away. And Hellboy asks her, well, what do you feel there? And she says, a lot of anger, but also a lot of pain. And Hellboy says, sounds about right. And that's it. That is the end. And also his colleague, he said, what happened to you? He said, I fell down some stairs. I love Hellboy. And that's it. That's how this story ended. That's what was also interesting. A bit less clear because I don't really know much about Ghost. At least in the first story, I know Batman and I know Hellboy. Starman not so much, but it's not that. Not that important. But here it's like, what? How is Ghost really? Is that how she is? What happened to her? There's many things she wants to know about herself, and Hellboy tells her, "Do you trust me? Some things you better not know." And he said, "Well, don't you want to know why that man wanted your hand?" And he said, "I don't need to know that." She accuses him of being a coward, and Hellboy says, "I'd like to think I'm well adjusted." I mean, I get Hellboy's point on that. There are some things better left unknown, really. I mean, I get the curiosity of wanting to know, but that's the issue. Once you know something, you can't go back to unknowing it. So, you should really think very well before you take big decisions in that regard. Do you really want to know this? Because there's no going back afterwards. And you can understand Ghost too. She wants to know what happened to her. Oh yeah, that's it. And in the back of the book, they show the omnibus for Ghost. I might see if I can pick that up. I am very curious to read about her. You know, what did she used to do? Yeah, right. Yeah, so that was it. This was a good story. I like the first one more. This one was also quite good. I like Ghost's costume. I wonder how she got it. Because it's this pantsuit with this top and her veil, big veil. Interesting. A lot of interesting stuff. And some Lovecraft mixed in there. Always good to have some Lovecraft in these stories. So yeah, these are the stories. Good. I'm glad I got this. Let me show you the art now. I'll show you a bit of each story. Alright, let's start here. So you can see, these are the, my glare. So the Nights of October. And see, one explodes. And a bat symbol. Oh yeah, in the first story it's Mike Mignola's art, but in the second one it's someone else's. I think, I was right then. The stories are just going by Batman, Hellboy, Starman. There's no real title. Let me show you Ted Knight. Ah yeah, there he is. Oh, that's how he looked to Starman. Look, there he is. There's old Brucey. Alright, there's that morning trying to run away through the window. What a twat. And there it is. There's old Jim. I love it. Hellboy and Batman. Hellboy and Batman in the same comic. Beautiful. But yeah, the usual Mike Mignola art style, which I love. Now let me just show you Alex. Oh yeah, I said some things I'll add in the beginning. I'll just add them later here. Alright, let's find... there he is. Let me just show you old Alex. There we go. There he is. Yeah, as you can see, he doesn't have the costume. Leo actually complained how he's just regularly dressed. And yeah, he mainly just has a jacket. Yeah, jacket, some goggles. Yeah, jacket, some goggles, and that's about it. Yeah, we get his name, right? Ah, come on, where it is. Come on, where are you? Oh, there it should be here. Oh, sorry, I said Alex is Jack. I don't know why I thought Alex. Sorry, his name is Jack. Right, Jack Knight. Jack Knight. Yeah, there we go, Jack Knight. Oh, and then the head Nazi's name is Otto. Otto Dance. Dance. Oh, anyway, I'll leave it on screen when I said I will. Alright, sorry, it's Jack. Jack Knight. Alright, so that was the... Yeah, here we go. I'll show you this page as well, and that's it. We'll move on. This isn't really a new one, but still, let's not risk it too much. Okay, now we have the second story. And I see, you don't see too much here. So there's the head boss. There's his henchman. Then he's fat. And there's old Herbert. Skinny, isn't he? And he gets killed. Hellboy investigating an Arcadian. I like less that Hellboy's eyes in here aren't yellow. I do prefer the yellow. Sometimes do this orange, which I don't like too much. Oh look, it's X and the Sun Creature. I like how they mention that. I saw X in one of Mr. Bill's videos. That's that over there was the lady I was talking about. So there's Ghost. This is the guy who dies. Check that costume out. That's just an interesting combination. Ooh, she and Moon Knight could go out on a costume debut. Right? I mean, look at them. They're both wearing white. You see, it's just an interesting costume. Also, that is one excellent top. It's holding the boobies very well. Yeah, so there you see. There's old Herbert. There's the guy with the axe who was laughing. I'll show you just the guy in the mask and that's it. So there he is. So that's the mask and Herbert's is the host of it. A lot of evil Hellboys. Right. So that's the art in here. Well, you know, what can I say? I'm biased. I like Mike Mignola's art. The art in the second story was also good, though. Although I would have liked to see more of a Ghost drawn in the Mignola art style. But regardless, good art. The eyes should have been yellow, though. Yeah, and that's it. I read me another story of Hellboy. Those of you who do watch my channel know I love me some Hellboy. This is great. I'm glad I got my hands on it. Some interesting stories. Got to know another agent of the BPRD. And saw Hellboy and Batman in the same comic. Ah, beautiful. Alright. That is it, folks. Let me know. Have you read this one? If so, what did you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Leave it down below in the comments. And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!